Welcome back to Marriage or Hell No. Happy Sunday out there to you fellas. And what I decided to do today on this Sunday is do a reaction video. And this reaction video comes over to us from the Poor Minds podcast, where a young lady named Keisha, I'm not going to call her the other part of her name, but she basically went onto this podcast to educate a few ladies about the type of men that they attract and the type of energy that they give out yields the type of results that they get back in return. And I thought it was so interesting to see a young lady kind of hold two fast moving girls in their place. But without further ado, let's get into the video.
So I've already been practicing my dance moves, how I'm gonna walk out to that hoe.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Because I seen you with the Birkin and how you was moving. I was like, I ain't got a Birkin yet, but I'm gonna get some of them dance moves, girl.
Yeah,
right. So yeah, I feel like I'm about to go see Mr. Cabo next week, so it's gonna be turned up.
You are.
You know I love me some Mr. Cabo, bitch.
Are y'all going somewhere? Or are you just going to visit him?
I don't know. I just gotta see. We gotta figure out what type of time he on. You know, when the BDD jumps, you say how hard.
Right.
You know,
that's what you gotta do.
You know, so we have a time call.
So you already see the problem with this ghetto ass shit. I'm trying to hold back, but it is what it is at this point. So obviously you can see that, hypergamy running rampant, but it is what it is. We're not tripping off of that. And this young lady is exhibiting the dragon claws that we so often find. But the reason why I chose this video is about to come up here in a second, and I want you guys to kind of get past a little bit of the overacting dramatics that this young lady puts on. But once we get here into it in a second, notice how things flips.
A BDB, a big baller. We gonna get into that later, because you low-key got you one, girl. She got no man. She out the game, y'all. I reckon
Right.
Every day she posting some new shoes, some new jewelry, everything.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and get into these topics. Okay. So you are a relationship. We are very much not. Right. So the first topic we wanted to talk about today is holding somebody down and fighting for your relationship versus leaving. Mm-hmm. Because I'ma leave. I can't. As soon as a nigga, like, I text a nigga, he don't text me back in 3 minutes. I'm like, you know what? I'm posting Instagram posts. You know what? I'm a real bitch. I'm gonna be alone.
So you can see dragon claws on full display. She throwing up gunshots. She talking about, not even putting up with the fact that she texts you and then you text back in 3 minutes or something. Fellas, there ain't no way in hell any of us would date this type of woman. But as we go on into this video, I want you guys to pay attention to the fact that she started out by saying, hey, these two are very much against relationships, but then she's asking a woman who's married about how she can get in a relationship. And watch how this conversation unfolds.
Already.
Yeah.
I know. That's the problem.
The attention. See, that's why we need you.
That's why we talking to you, sis. Okay, so what y'all want to know?
So are you a hold him down? I'm not leaving. We gonna work things out.
Well, when you say hold him down, like, what do you mean? Because what? Like hold down what?
Like hold down the relationship.
You mean
like
it's
sometimes
depending on what happened.
Yeah, like sometimes men mess up.
Yeah.
Sometimes, men aren't perfect. They might slide in somebody's DMs, or they might be out, get drunk, passed out, not answer your phone call. Like stuff like that, it'll make me put my guard back up. I won't necessarily stop talking to you, but I always just feel like it's so many bitches, especially in Atlanta. We live in Atlanta. We know how it is out here. So I just feel like if a nigga's not doing, paying attention to me, giving me the time, it's like, okay, you give me your time to somebody else.
Especially in the dating stage.
Right.
I think it's easy to be not interested anymore.
But I feel also it just depends on what type of man you're going for too. So
you see, a woman starts out by making sense. So she goes and says, are you the type to hold somebody down and do all? The girl couldn't even phrase what the hell she was talking about. But then she leads into, well, guys are the ones that go out here and be messing up on things. They go out here and they cheat and they do all of this. But what you will find out is that it's the same old adage, which is that some of these women out here, they don't know how to pick a man to save their life, and they only involve themselves in Pookie and Ray Ray situations, but then talk about they want a productive man.
Therefore, you have to hold yourself accountable for what type of guys you're going for. Because if you thinking already like that, like you going into a situation where you feel like, oh, he finna be cheating or he finna be fucking with somebody else, then that's not the one for you.
Right.
But what's your end goals? Like, what do y'all want to be? Do you guys want to be somebody's wife? What do you want to be?
Yeah, see, we talk about that all the time on the show. Sometimes I don't really know if I necessarily want to get married.
Do you want to have kids?
I do want to have kids, but I'm not sure if
This problem right here, we hear it all the time. And fellas, and I'm gonna turn this one on the fellas, if you out there grinding, being productive, why the hell would you give this woman a child? It would make absolutely no sense. You work too hard to decide to give this type of woman a child. But this is the problem I want to talk about within our community. It is so easy for our women to say that they'd rather be single mothers than have to be married women. That's the biggest problem I'm starting to see. And watch when she holds the lady accountable, they have no idea as how to progress the conversation because they're not used to dealing with productive men like us that wouldn't put up with that shit. So what I mean to say is simply this. If you are want to dealing with this type of woman, and yes, she is attractive, I'm not taking that away from her, but have all your fun. But fellas, strap up when you meet this type of woman. Should be at no point in time when the rubber comes off, because you know that this woman's mindset is more comfortable being a single mother than being in a relationship, being married, or even putting up with you as a person who just got her pregnant.
I want to get married.
So why do you, this is my question.
Okay.
Why do you want to have kids?
Hell no! She always liquor, drink. I got too much shit to do.
But why? Okay, so you don't want to have kids. So, okay, you a different story. But you,
Okay.
you want to have kids, but you don't know if you want to get married. So that means that you already gonna be. You're planning to already bring this child into and have a deficit in their life, right?
I mean, I feel like if I find the right person, we could get married. I just sometimes I don't really have a lot of faith.
But do you have to find the right person to have the baby?
I do think I have to find the right person to have a kid, but I also feel like I'm in a position where I'm doing things for my own, so I would completely be okay with having to take on that responsibility by myself as far as financial shit goes.
That makes absolutely no French toast sense right there at all. And so many of our women say that. So you saw Keisha said, well, hold on. What you were saying right now makes absolutely no sense, and checks her, brings it back to say you are already comfortable with the idea of being a single mother as opposed to being married and having children. Makes no sense at all. But the other part of that is Keisha checked on the fact that, hold on, now you're about to bring a child into the world, not only based on your actions and what you want, but now you're putting the child at a severe disadvantage. And she had no answer at all for this. So fellas, don't reward these type of women by giving them children. You're only making problems for the larger subset of the group.
Have to.
I don't think that's okay.
I don't think it's okay neither, but I feel like it's a reality of like the generation that we live in, because I just feel like that's how most of these niggas are. I do.
No, those are the niggas that you going after. You got to find somebody that's going to.
But I don't really be going after nobody. It be the people that be coming after me. I don't go.
Now, you see that right there? It's very important to talk about that. And yo, shout out to Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels tackled this earlier this week in one of his shows. What we are finding out, and everybody knows, you know, by now, I like to operate between New York and Atlanta, but I spend a lot of time in Atlanta. And the one thing that you find in Atlanta is that these are some of the laziest groups of Black women as far as when it comes to dating. They sit their asses up there and then think that a man is supposed to come to them when they have less value than the man that they want, supposedly. So my point is that, fellas, you got to stay away from a woman like this. But the other thing, too, is also keep in mind, don't be dealing with no woman that she expects everything to come her way, because you're never going to consistently make her happy, because you can't do that all the time. You have to remember, fellas, that you need a woman who invests in you. And there's too many of our women who think like that, especially in the city of Atlanta. I can tell you stories about me being on the Beltline, me being in Buckhead, me running around downtown Peter Street and all of that. Bro, these are the laziest group of women, and then get mad when dudes don't commit to them. That's the reason why you see so many situationships when you operate in Atlanta.
If we being honest, like, I don't want to chase these niggas. You the niggas that be trying to talk to me.
Well, not necessarily go after, but I'm saying, like, these, obviously, if you're giving your attention to these people, then, you know what I'm saying, that's what's going, you know, but I just feel like women, we have to take accountability as far as like where we're giving our attention to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The type of man that we're giving our attention to.
I agree.
I think I want marriage to be a thing again. You know, I want women to feel like they should be able to get married because y'all deserve that. Why not? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I want it to be a thing again too. I talk about it all the time on the show, how I grew up in a 2-parent household. My parents were married my whole life, but I just feel like niggas don't be built like how my daddy was no more. They really don't.
Fellas, that's another sign right there. I keep telling you, women that gesticulate, women that go around using the N-word referring to you, that's really a dude thing. That's a dude like, yo, what up, my ninja? Yo, what up? I'm chilling, I'm good. How you doing, my ninja? Like, stuff like that. Women have become so, you know, loose with the way that they talk. They talk in very masculine tones. The characteristics of them are not ladylike at all. And one sign of that is when you see a lady up here talking and she's using that N-word like that, because a true lady understands that that's not the way to communicate. The other thing too is that they take no responsibility for the decisions that they make. So when they go out there and they choose Tyrone, you know, Pookie and Ray Ray, and then they riding around in the carousel all day. The reason why that is because they have no idea. And then, like Keisha just mentioned, you can go out there and run around the carousel all you want, but fellas, we already know that wall will hit this lady dead in the face, and then she's going to look back and say, what happened? It was all her actions that led her up to this point.
It is. I guess I just feel like it just be crazy because me being a single woman, literally, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like half the men that are in my DMs be married. Yeah. So I'll be like, is this what I have to look forward to? Like,
so let me ask you something. Do you think that all men cheat?
I do.
We both do.
I do. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We're tainted. We are. This is a counseling session. We are tainted.
All men don't cheat.
Yes.
I'm gonna say that.
You want to shot here? Calm down.
All men don't cheat.
Okay, I will say this. I have been in situations.
But do you feel like all men have cheated? Because that's what I mean.
Okay, so this is what I'm gonna say. Like, this is what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
When you find like, okay, so do I feel like all men have cheated probably prior into like in their early relationships? Yeah. Maybe. Okay. I don't know. I can't speak for all men in all relationships.
Right.
I can only speak on the experiences that I've been through. But I will say this, like the relationship that I'm in now, our problems are not infidelity. Our problems are not who you are. Not. It's not about who DMs you in and who's in getting work. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's our problems. But that's because we understand each other, and I feel like, but the problem is nowadays though, a lot of girls don't even get to know these guys that they're trying to pursue either.
Keisha, you just making too much sense to the wrong people. Fellas, we already know. These are the type of women that when you go about in your city, you be out at a bar, they have no idea of what's in your wallet. They don't know how to identify with you. They don't know how to communicate with you. They don't know how to approach you. They are terrified to come talk to you because they know most of them are simply there on their looks. But as soon as they have to open up their mouths, they get disqualified from guys like us. But the point I want to make is that Keisha just said it. You know, where are you finding these type of guys? You know, and then you see it again. It presents itself again. She was like, no, it's just the guys that be in my DMs. These girls don't go out. They don't do anything. They sit on the couch all day looking at social media and then think that they're going to get the results without having to go out there in the real world and come talk to us. And that's the problem that's really plaguing our community, is that I can say it again. So many of our women are just lazy. And I'm glad that Keisha is showing them that their actions are never going to yield them the results because they don't even know how to execute a plan.
So it's both on both ends. Like nobody's trying to really get to know each other. Everybody just kind of dating people for what they see and what they got.
Right.
Me and my boyfriend, we were best friends. And honestly, we didn't even like each other. Like, never even.
So how long y'all friends before y'all started dating?
We probably been friends maybe like 7 years or so. 7 to 8 years.
Wow,
yeah. 7 to 8 years. I met him maybe in like, what, 2012?
Chill, fuck all that shit. Like, nah, we ain't with that. Yo, no more friends, yo. No more friends. You know, she got a great outcome, but fellas don't be out here believing that friends crap. Like, you too busy.
Show flaws, or what are you damaged by? You know, like, why you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Why do you think that all men cheat?
Well, we do say, like, the type of men that you're supposed to date, like, you supposed to date somebody that has ambition, that can do stuff for you, but a lot of things get misconstrued on this podcast, because a lot of times people think we're saying, like, you're supposed to have, everything needs to be transactional, and we do not condone that.
We don't subscribe
like,
to that.
because a lot of women nowadays want, like, transactional things, like, you have to do A, B, C, D, E, F, and it's like...
So she's talking about transactional things. Fellas, we don't participate in that, because women that think like that, they're never going to get a chance to get with black men like us, right? But notice how she just talked about that. They don't subscribe to that idea of things being transactional rather. But in the beginning part of the video, in the opening, you can hear her say, the big snossage baller goes down to Cancun, or she's going to go join him in Cancun, but whenever he calls, she sticks her hand out. So these are the type of women that you're dealing with, that they don't have absolutely no clue, no idea as to what they're talking about. So that's the reason why, fellas, you got to stay away from these type of women. But the reason why I chose this video is to show you that too many of our women are very lazy when it comes to dating. Honestly, fellas, it's going to hurt to say this, but fellas, you work too hard. You are too much on your grind. You too productive to choose a woman like this that you saw in the video. Fellas, you stay away from both of these type of women. Identify you a woman that is good, that can walk down this aisle with you. So until the next time, marriage or hell nah, I'm out.